In a season already dominated by the dramatic unraveling of Kyle and Mauricio's relationship, The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Season 14 delivered another surprising heartbreak, the slow, painful public unraveling of Dorit and PK Kemsley's marriage. For viewers, it was a fascinating case of parallel deja vu, another picture-perfect couple who, for many years, seemed to defy the Housewives curse. But beneath Dorit's curated glam and PK's boisterous charm, a storm was clearly brewing. Their separation, officially announced in May 2024, was just a punctuation to a season full of emotional silences, avoidance, awkward tension, and eventually confessions. That, after almost a decade of a picture-perfect marriage, a happy family, and a beautiful home. And on season 14 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, we found out how PK has been struggling to like her lately, and has talked about how he can barely recognize this new Dorit. Shoo! He's been saying her taste for the expensive things has exploded lately. And look, I'm not pocket watching and counting the coins. Maybe the budget is just not able to keep up. That's why, because at the season 14 reunion, Dorit clapped back and said that, oh, he loves this. He loves the spotlight it comes with. He loves the idea of a pretty young wife. And he loves the idea that he's able to finance all of that. So at what point did he get tired of all of that? Now, Dorit and PK got married in 2015 and quickly became RHOBH staples. Their dynamic was often cheeky and affectionate. She, the couture-clad glamazon, he, the British businessman with the dad jokes and endless connections. They shared two beautiful children, built a life in Beverly Hills, and weathered a few PR storms, including lawsuits, PK's financial battles, and Dorit's 2021 home invasion. But by season 13, something changed. The warmth between them cooled. Their once playful banter gave way to passive-aggressive digs. Dorit filmed solo, attending events or cash trips without PK, and when he did appear, it felt performative. That man was exhausted the whole time, like a couple going through the motions. It started getting really sad though, because at some point the focus shifted to how PK was no longer understanding how Dorit was navigating the trauma around the break-in. He felt at some point that she was weaponizing it, and maybe that's part of the reason Dorit really popped off on Garcelle's speculations about the break-in, that she was suggesting PK would do something to his own family. And bad timing, because Dorit was not having it this season. Kyle, Garcelle, and Sutton all felt a rat this season.
Dorit and I
Honey, you were total to me.
Damn!
And that's something that really helped Dorit to come out of the shadows and give us her big season. After all, there was a time where her impact on the show was a subject of never-ending debate, with many people probing the authenticity of her happy life as displayed on the show. Now that flew right out the window this season, and Dorit has been upfront about the fact that the separation from PK is the reason she's been so activated. She was no longer going to be Kyle's sidekick, and in fact, she was going to call her out for texting PK during their separation while the two of them were not speaking to one another. See, on part 2 of the ongoing reunion, the girls continued to discuss how that was a violation of the girl code. A sad turn of events, because if they ever needed each other as pillars of strength, it would have definitely been this season. They've always been cute as besties, with husbands who were also really close as bros. See, they could have really leaned into each other about how their husbands seem to have checked out and how both of them are holding on for dear life. Kyle has talked openly about wishing for a reconciliation, for things to get back to what they used to be with Mauricio, and he, on the other side, seems to have checked out of the marriage entirely. It's a twin situation with PK, who has also been adamant to cut the cord and slash the codependency, despite the separation being meant to help them resolve their issues. See, it would be unfair to talk about the breakdown of Dorit and PK's marriage without addressing the aftermath of Dorit's terrifying 2021 home invasion. On season 13, we saw her struggling with PTSD, tearful, triggered, and emotionally fragile. In season 14, however, Dorit opens up about how much that trauma changed her. She began therapy, developed anxiety around PK's travel schedule, and expressed how unsupported she felt during the recovery. PK, on the other hand, doubled down on work, traveling frequently, staying out late, and, in Dorit's words, emotionally checking out. In one emotional scene, Dorit reveals that PK often turned to alcohol to cope with his own stress. Though she never explicitly called it alcoholism, her concerns were loud. The cameras caught her confronting PK about his drinking and his absence in their home life. His response, defensive and dismissive. Is this really over? Comment down below, like and share this video, and subscribe to the channel. By mid-season, fans were already speculating the couple wasn't together for episodes. Dorit even joked at one point that she could not remember the last time they had date night. In private confessionals, she admitted to feeling alone even when he was in the room, which was never for the later part of the season. But what hit the hardest were the silences. PK would call her babe or crack a joke, and Dorit would smile, tight-lipped as though trying to convince herself that it still felt good. The emotional disconnect was louder than any screaming match. Unlike Kyle and Mauricio, who sat down and acknowledged their rift, Dorit and PK seemed to be living in quiet avoidance. When they were finally forced to confront the elephant in the room, it was almost too late. In May 2024, Dorit and PK released a joint statement confirming what fans had long suspected. "We as a couple have been subject to a lot of speculation about our marriage. We have had our struggles and are taking some time apart to work through them as individuals. Our priority is our children and maintaining a healthy co-parenting relationship." It was diplomatic, sterile, but heartbreaking nonetheless. The couple didn't use the word divorce, but taking time apart was more than enough to start all kinds of speculations amongst fans. By the time the finale aired, fans were watching with retroactive clarity. Every cold glance and every awkward dinner now made sense. As with Kyle and Mauricio, the Dorit PK split wasn't just emotional, it was also financial. In early 2024, the Sun newspaper revealed that the couple's $7.5 million mansion had entered pre-foreclosure. According to reports, they had defaulted on nearly $300,000 in mortgage payments. Although the debt was eventually settled and the home pulled from the foreclosure list, the story raised serious questions. Was this the financial breaking point? PK had previously faced lawsuits and bankruptcy in the UK. In 2023, he paid off a long-standing debt to a Las Vegas casino, reportedly. Dorit, too, was rumored to have unpaid designer debts, although she denied them vehemently. Sutton and Erica, both seasoned survivors of brutal divorces, clocked it immediately.
I've been through a divorce, and my heart goes out to those children. And my heart goes out to Dorit as a mother, because you don't want to let your children down.
In a tense moment over drinks, Sutton leaned in and warned Dorit, "You need to lawyer up. If it's money trouble, you don't want to be the last to know." Erica, having been through Tom Girardi's financial scandal, was in total agreement.
Mom got so mean that I won't even tell you because it's that bad.
As of April 2025, Dorit and PK remain legally married but separated. Dorit has said publicly that she's unsure if this is permanent, that she still loves PK but doesn't feel emotionally safe in the marriage. PK, for his part, has pushed back against certain narratives. He denied being an alcoholic and suggested on social media that some of Dorit's concerns were exaggerated for the cameras. It's clear that the two still speak, mostly for the kids, but the emotional distance seems to be insurmountable, at least for now. According to Dorit, she hasn't closed the door completely. She's hinted that couples therapy is still ongoing and that her hope is for, and I quote, healing, whether together or apart. But fans have noticed her finding her voice again. She's attending events solo, showing up to group scenes with her head high. Granted, she's crashing out this season, but the kids are still her anchor, and she's slowly carving out a life without PK at the center of it, in denial as she still continues to be. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills season 14 will go down as the season where marriages collapsed. Kyle and Mauricio, Dorit and PK. Two love stories, two different parts, but the same ache of disappointment, disconnection, and delayed decisions. What made Dorit and PK's journey especially tragic was the slow burn. The way it all just fell apart without a bang. No scandal, no cheating scandals, at least nothing public. Just two people growing apart and forgetting how to find their way to each other. Dorit and PK's story is a reminder that even the shiniest couples aren't immune to slow erosion. Love doesn't always die in drama, not especially at first. Sometimes it fades quietly while the cameras are still rolling. Now, what are your thoughts? Comment down below, like and share this video, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching until here. Until next time, bye.